Hudson Park Board meeting to order. You want to do the roll call? Or you want to do the roll call?
I can do the roll call, yeah, no.
I just turned it
Yeah,
down like
right.
Debbie is here.
Yeah, she's
taking
off.
minutes to do
Yes,
that.
exactly.
Just got back.
Yeah.
All right, Pam Brokaw, Anthony Laberco,
Here.
Karen Nessett,
Here.
Pat Casanova,
Here.
Mike Kennedy. Here.
Great. We've got approval of the minutes from last time. Did anybody catch anything that was omitted or should be changed?
I did not. I move to approve.
Moved.
Second.
Seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. We have no comments from any of our citizenry, so for new business, A, we've got their public participation coming up in our
Yep.
outdoor recreation plan.
Yeah, so this kind of goes hand in hand with the CIP that we talked about a few months ago. Obviously, the outdoor rec plan is up for renewal. Instead of doing that plan separately, we're combining the outdoor rec plan and the bike and ped master plan into one outdoor recreation plan. All right, and so as part of that, the outdoor recreation plan expires at the end of 2026 or 2027. I don't recall off the top of my head. But as part of that, Tiffany Weiss, the city planner, has been working on the participation plan. And so basically what we need to do tonight is I printed off a one-page deal right in front of you. And we are to kind of review the public participation opportunities that she's outlined. And if you want to add anything to this list, now is the time to do so. And then on the back side is kind of the schedule of what is coming up over the next couple of years. So obviously, as we get feedback from the community, there is a survey that has been posted already. Just getting feedback from individuals that live in the city, live outside the city. What parks are you using? What amenities are you using? What would you like to see? Kind of that stuff, right? Kind of the basic stuff. So as we get that information back, obviously you'll have a chance to review it after we put a draft together. And so those are kind of outlined on the back as far as when you'll have those opportunities to review. Obviously, bike and ped plan would be reviewing, and then ultimately we'll go to council for first and second reading for approval, kind of July of 2027. So it's about a year and a change process, making sure that we're getting everything in there. And the reason we're doing this is obviously to have all the information in one document. A lot of times parks and trails overlaps with one another, right? And then the second thing is outdoor recreation, or the community outdoor recreation plan opens up opportunities for grants. So whether that's for certain park grants through the federal or state, and bike and pedestrian. So by having that one big document, it does open things up for more possibilities. So with that being said, I mean, obviously I just kind of it was in the packet, but printed off in front of you. I mean, can you think of any other way that you'd want? Obviously there's community surveys, and people can find that through our website. I know Tiffany was putting together some poster flyers that she's going to hang up at like the library, the YMCA, the Chamber of Commerce, maybe some of the grocery stores if they have the old bulletin boards where you just scan the QR code and it takes you right there. I took the survey earlier last week, and it took me about 5 minutes. So it's not like it's not a huge lift by any means. Let's see. We're posting on our social media accounts. There was a press release in the paper last week. I actually got a couple of people that called me about that, just seeing where they can take the survey, which was good. And then obviously, meeting notices, and then at the committee levels, we'll be talking about it over the next year and a half. So outside of that, can you think of anything beyond that we'd want to pull in? I mean, she talked about in the packet, like doing maybe some specific, reaching out to specific groups, whether it's the senior group or like a mom's group or that type of thing, to get some more like 1-on-12 type interaction, more focus group related. Or schools.
Right.
Yeah. PTA meetings or seniors. So I don't know if you think that would be worthwhile for us to invest. I think it probably would be.
Couldn't hurt.
That
Right.
makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Should give the kids a say, so
Yeah.
to the school.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if there's like a festival or something coming up where sometimes you have booths down at the lakefront park.
Yeah.
I don't know if something like that would be a good way to get people involved.
National Night Out would be a great opportunity.
Yeah,
Yep. There's tons of families that go
Yeah.
down to that.
yeah, we could staff it.
Yep.
That's what, August also?
Yeah, I think it's August, yeah. Well, yeah, I mean,
Still be churning, ideas still be churning? I mean, that's a great
that's a
idea.
great question, because I know the survey is out and she wanted responses back by April 6th.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
Taste of
That's why I
Hudson's in
didn't,
May.
yeah, I don't think it's
yeah,
Do it there.
too far out.
right. I mean,
Rotary would let us do it there.
what we could do is, yeah, well, that's a good option too, is if a draft plan is in place, maybe we could have some like storyboards or something like that to
Yeah.
kind of get some feedback on it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That would be, yeah.
but I know Rotary would give us a space for a Taste of Hudson in the park, if we wanted to have a booth or a sign or something set up there to inform
Yeah.
people.
Would the chamber let us post something in their kiosk down in the park? Because that's in a park. I guess we have kiosks in a few other parks too.
Yeah,
Camp has one.
kiosks, parks.
If we
yeah.
did like a weatherproofy type thing and with a QR code to it.
Yeah.
Just a QR, yeah.
Or even, I know, Chamber has their coffees, what do they call those?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, those morning coffees, or I can't remember what they're
Yeah.
called.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, I think those are all good, viable options. And then basically, what we're looking for tonight, if you have nothing else, it would be to approve the public participation plan with the noted changes and schedule.
Okay, you want a motion for that?
Yep.
I move to approve.
I'll second.
Any further questions, anybody's part on it? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
Thank you.
This is a helpful way to, no matter what we're talking about it,
Yes,
the rolling, or whatever we call it, timeline,
Yeah.
yeah,
really helps you figure out what has to come before the other thing, and then, how they all interact. So this is helpful.
Yeah, good.
Helpful
Great.
tool.
next we've got is the boat cleaning station.
Yeah, so this was pulled from Common Council on Monday night and kicked back down to Park Board for discussion. Let's see. The Wild Rivers Conservancy reached out to me. They want to set up a boat inspection down at Lakefront Park over the summer months to basically inspect boats going in and coming out of the river. Typically, an inspection includes, making sure that your live well is drained, that your boat plug is out, that you have no milfoil or other type of invasive species on your boat trailers, so you're not, taking hopscotching lakes and bringing different types of. So that's kind of the premise of it, and in the packet there was kind of an agreement, basically like the city would provide a space, and then the Wild Conservancy would supply 200 volunteer hours of inspection time from basically Memorial Day to Labor Day, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So there was a concern, obviously, with just the number of people and the high usage of that facility, that might affect some of the flow and
Could back people up.
and also, well, I'll let you explain it, Mike.
Say, who put this?
Yeah, right.
No, and thanks, Mike. So, and I think I try to remember what I said, but I think I said I agree with their objective, but concerned about the implementation. I think that's great. I mean, if we can prevent, we already have milfoil, we already have
Zebra mussels.
zebras, but the education is great and all that. So that I have no problem with it.
And part of that is to keep them from going from here to Bass Lake.
Right,
Which
exactly.
and other
Yeah,
places.
that other affect fishermen everywhere. So the concept's great. Yeah. So giving it some thought, and I know that you guys were around, Anthony. I'm not sure if you were with, but when we redid the boat launch and added parking spots and added launch ramps, the idea is that's very popular. It gets very busy. I don't know if you've ever been down there, especially like opening fishing weekend. It's crazy, in a good way. It's a profitable. Well, I'll say profitable, but I mean we turn money from that, so our investment is paying off, and so we can keep it up to date. We've heard nothing but good things about it. But back to when we were designing, if you remember, I remember the original plan, or one of the original plans, had a fish cleaning station, a boat cleaning station, and I think like a picnic pavilion possibility where you could go fishing and then sit and have a lunch or whatever. And I think we all thought that would be really cool, but that it's just going to slow people down from coming in, launching their boat, have a great day on the river, and then come back. And we want you to put your boat on your trailer and get out of there so the next guy can come in. And so that was my one concern, that we're people, not just looking, going, that boat looks clean, but like you said, there's live wells. Some of these boats have 5 live wells, and it could take 10, 15 minutes. And then if the fisherman, or woman, I should say, is curious about learning and then strikes up a conversation, they might be on that ramp for 40 minutes talking about the positives and negatives of milfoil while people are stacked up, etc. So that's one thing. We designed it to kind of be a slick in and out and keep the churn going, but this is kind of holding it up. On its face, it's dangerous. Again, some of these volunteers might not be familiar with how boat launches work or whatever. I mean, you've got pickup trucks backing up; they can't see behind them, and everyone wants it. The storm's coming. Everyone wants to get their boat out of there. There might be some drinking going on down there, and the kid's crying, and you're late for work, and now someone says, "Hang on a second, I want to talk to you about that milfoil I saw in your." That may not. We might be opening up ourselves to something there. I'll quit talking in a second. But the last thing that maybe I'm digging a little too deep in this is just the concept that it's probably our only park that we really kind of charge an admission, or parking, if you will. But we're kind of like renting a parking spot, right? So it's sort of like if someone were to rent a gazebo and have a picnic, and then the city says, "Oh, by the way, we're going to have another third party come in and just observe you and maybe question what you're doing, whatever. Safety of the food. What if they don't like people consuming meat? And they might it's free to. My fear is people are paying us, and then we're going to allow observers in there. So I just thought that it might set a precedent of what's next if you borrow the band shell and someone doesn't like rock and roll, so we're going to observe that. I just think it might be a clash. So I'm not anti it, but the way the agreement read seemed pretty open, that they can kind of come and go. I mean, they said how many hours, but it could be 4 people down there every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
If it
walking among
and
whatever.
To your point, I don't think we want them to back up any traffic. If they're inspecting one boat, anybody else coming out should be able to go right past them and go on out until they're done with that one. Then they can pick somebody else at random.
I agree. And so I'm thinking if we could tighten it up. Maybe, again, in my little brain, I don't have all the answers, but as you come in, a volunteer maybe has a brochure that talks about what's happening today. We're offering free inspections and discussions. They did claim, they're not there to police anything.
Right.
If someone's breaking the law, I assume they're going to let them, do whatever. Right. And then maybe one lane, or maybe this parking spot over here is where you can come get out of everyone's way. Mm-hmm. But I just think the interaction on the ramp itself, I
agreed too. I was concerned about the implementation.
Yeah.
And I'm not even a boater, but it seems to me that we have to it has to happen someplace not in the middle of the launching, and it's got to, I don't know where that spot is, but maybe the idea of a brochure, and then if they want to pull over and have a more a longer discussion, they're out of that stream of traffic. Yeah. I don't know, because I don't exactly know how that layout works, but.
And we don't want them dressed like they're officers.
Right,
If you say something or ignore them, you're going to get arrested or what have you.
Yeah.
Right.
that they're just other people down there trying to educate
Yeah.
everyone.
So the agreement says from May 1st to September 7th. Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Do you think it would be prudent or amenable to do like Monday through Thursday so they're not peak flow just for this first year to see how it goes, or
That might
That's
be,
interesting,
that
yeah.
might be a better option.
That might be a nice compromise,
Yeah.
yeah.
And people might want to pause and say, yeah, I do need to know more about this.
Yeah.
But you're right, I'm thinking
I mean,
you know,
you're
the
not
Saturday of opening fishing and,
you're not getting the weekend warriors by any means, but at least you get, there's a fair share of people that still use that launch, in
Yeah.
June, July, and August in the middle of the week.
yep.
Yeah,
like
so obviously, if you're a boater, this is fairly common at launches, right? The launches that I've seen them at are only like single or double lane launches, much smaller and less active. And like you said, on a weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's a zoo. And trucks are flying in and out of that, backing trailers up, pulling boats out, throw the kids in the car, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
You know, it is a dance.
It was a good,
So,
dance.
this might, like I said, just throw a wrench in that flow.
I think we might want language that says we can change their activities as time goes on based on the feedback we're getting.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
if we say, yes, they aren't locked in to be.
Do a review after a month
Yeah.
and say, it's not working the way we wanted.
There is termination of services in the contract.
Yeah.
Either party can terminate the agreement at any given time, verbal or written notice. So I mean, if something isn't working, we can obviously just say,
Yeah.
it's not. So
Personally, I like the idea of just doing it during the week.
Yeah, I think that's good, and does it have to be the whole summer?
right.
Yeah, I'd avoid the first week of opener or whatever, just because it's even, well, but I like where you're going. I appreciate that understanding, Mike. And,
What is opener? Yeah, go ahead. Keep.
and I was just going to say too, if I don't know how, I way back in the day, I used to be part of the St. Croix River Association. And it's kind of morphed into this group. So I have some idea of, of who, I mean, it's all age groups, it's all abilities or whatever. But again, you might get someone that's never been to a boat ramp and never, whatever, and just think, everyone will stop for him, whatever. So I think that's good. I think safety vests are key. And then the other thing I thought of, in case they think this is a big deal, we're going to bring 10 volunteers down. I know we said we give them access to that. They need to park somewhere other than that, because it's one of our rules is you can't park there without a trailer.
Correct.
So I just make them aware that they can't use the first 5 spots for their
Parking. Okay. Yep.
volunteer group.
Yeah.
Parking included in agreement.
And do we want that many?
Yeah, I don't know
Do
what
we
their
want
plan
one
is.
checking station, or do we want a big group and they've got multiple ones? I didn't have clarity on that when I read it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if they're trying to flag down every boat that comes off the ramp, it's going to be challenging.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's more of just like pick as your leisure. You're done with this person, okay, here comes the next one. Instead of like running and flagging them down, like,
Yeah.
stop,
Could maybe, like you had mentioned, a space, could the apron of the Buckeye Garage, could you put some cones and say, as you're coming in, if you want to,
But now
but that is
During
that's
the-
a choke point though.
During the week,
Won't go
we
out that
won't.
way.
Yeah, during the week, I don't think it'll be an issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I like kind of a remove spot, maybe one at a time type thing, and maybe get them, whoever's coming in and going or whatever. But like you said,
So-
one per boat in there is going to be mayhem.
Identify inspection area.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
to not impede our flow.
To not impede. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Because they're educational only.
Educational
They're not
only.
any kind of enforcement. or
Correct.
anything.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right.
So we don't want the people coming there thinking that they have to go through there.
Right.
You know,
And sometimes those, Mike's a fisherman, sometimes those guys don't like being told, hey, I gotta talk to you about that,
Yeah.
Please, leave me alone. Don't quit looking at my boat. You know, that kind of thing.
I don't want you looking in their boat and their I will either.
Right, yeah, right, yeah.
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 So, well, no, I appreciate, I think you know where I'm going with that. Sorry to get so long-winded on that, but
No,
I
that's
just,
good.
it was so open, and we basically said, go do, not you, but the agreement was sort of go do whatever, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden, shoot, what have we just opened up for that? So that was my concern.
So are you making a motion to forward on to council with the stated changes? So this is what I have for changes. Safety vests, their volunteer parking included in the agreement where they can park. Identify the inspection area to not impede flow. And then change from Monday through Thursday. Fishing opener is the 8th and 9th. So that's a Friday and a Saturday. So if you do a Monday through
Oh,
Thursday,
there
it
you go.
doesn't affect
Yeah.
it. So the dates really don't. So they could start on May 4th.
Yeah,
And just do Monday through
yeah.
Thursday.
No, I think that's great. I think that, I mean, that satisfies
Then we
my
have the
concern.
option if it doesn't work.
Yeah, we always have the
You can
option.
watch
Yep.
it for a few weeks. and
Yep,
Say, no, this isn't
Critique
going to
it,
work.
and, yeah.
And then is there any feedback from the group saying this was successful, we trained people, or?
There's
Gonna be their feel?
nothing. Yeah, it's more just public education. No reports back.
Okay.
so moved.
As stated, yeah.
And second?
Second.
Any further
Thanks, Mike.
discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Okay, Buckeye Garage is our next issue.
Yeah. All right, so this also was a kickback down from council on Monday night. So we've had some private parties interested in providing services out of Buckeye Garage. Okay. And as the council directed staff, myself, to put together an RFP to see, because if one person is wanting to go in there, we got to open up to the community, right? Got to be fair and say, well, what would you provide out of this building? So as I'm going through the process, I did contact the DNR, specifically their riverway zoning specialists, and the building itself is basically classified as legal non-conforming. All right, so it doesn't conform to the current ordinances and state statutes that are on the books, but it's legal because it's basically grandfathered in, right, when it was originally built. So because it's legal non-conforming, it basically, and it's in the flood zone or floodplain, it trips a set of standards that what we can and cannot do with that facility. Okay, so basically, like I was explaining at council the other night, there's two buckets of money that we can pull from to bucket A is maintain the building, and bucket B is modify the building. All right. So the amount of money that's in each of those buckets is based on what the value is of that structure. And so 6 years ago, I hired Norby Associates out of Eau Claire to give us kind of an appraisal. At that time, it was about $90,000. So the ordinance or the state statute says that you can maintain and modify that structure 50% of what the value of that building is. So in theory, we got $45,000 for maintenance and $45,000 for modifications. All right. The modification budget, if you change, let's just say we want to open up the south side to do an open air shelter, that's a modification that pulls from that bucket. You want to update bathrooms or put in a sprinkler, or it pulls from that modification budget. Once that modification budget or bucket is out, you cannot do any more modifications on that building per the state statutes. Maintenance, on the other hand, so shingles, tuck pointing, replacing a garage door, basically what's a windows, basically that maintenance bucket, it, refills per event. So let's just say this summer I got to replace the shingles. It costs the city $30,000. It comes out of that bucket. It's underneath $45,000. In 2027, we got to replace windows. Well, it jumps back up to $45,000. Windows cost $20,000, so then it pulls $20,000. and then it jumps back up, so it's per event. So that bucket can continue to fill back up as long as you're maintaining the building. And so here's the crux of the situation is there is, per the state statutes, there are exemptions for historical buildings to basically be exempt from some of these statutes. And right now it's not designated as such, but there is an opportunity for, park board and council to direct staff to look into that and maybe to apply. Because we were trying to think about it at council, we think it's the oldest building in the city of Hudson. Yeah. So it's from the late 1800s, right? A lot of uses have been out of that building. And so I guess that's the whole bringing a service in there. It's probably not in the cards just based on what the value is and what we can spend for modifications. Because if you do any type of, kitchen or anything like that, you're going to have to bring it up to code with the latest, fire suppression, the latest exits, the ventilation, you name it. So I think that's kind of where we're at. And the reason why it's back down here is basically to discuss and see what.
I think there was some discussion about, where to, like, a couple things to tinker with. One is that value is still accurate.
Right. And
again, it's not it's not private property, and you're not going to build on it. So, we'd sit there and say, well, I'd buy that for $90,000 right now. Build a house. Well, you can't. So I don't know if that number is going to skyrocket to 110. It's not going to get us the potentially 200,000 we need to turn that into a true workable pavilion with a working kitchen and ADA compliant bathrooms, whatever. But I think there was some discussion that maybe we not tinker with, but get an updated value.
Yeah, I think that valuation is way too low.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at the value of other properties along the riverfront that have been changing hands and turning, $90-some thousand isn't enough.
No.
And what's up at the corner of the intersection with Cooley and 35 there across from the Dairy Queen, that corner is for sale. What, 3.5?
Bob's? Yeah, 3.5.
Yeah. A block away?
Yeah, with a shed basically there. So I don't know. I think it'd be difficult to, give a retail value to it. But I mean, that's what they do for a living, so they can help us with that. The other thing is Mike mentioned that the concept that if we Hudsonites deem that this has got a lot of value to it because it's the oldest building, because it has a story to it, because it's great architecture, if it were a historical building, and I know nothing about all the rules and whatever, I mean, they might say, go spend whatever you want to, but bring it back to 1880 whatever,
right?
And it's a garage. Well, we already have that doesn't really get us anywhere. We want to see if we can kind of borrow from the rules of being able to invest some money into this building to keep it current and usable, functional, and give it a new life without having it to be just a pump house. We don't need a.
Why don't we do what we want?
Yeah.
Period. Why don't we do what we want to do with it and then fight with them over it? We're not going to be totally unrealistic about what we do, but I would just as soon look at the building, say what's the best and highest use for the people in the city of Hudson. We have this facility here. How would we best use it? And then see what restrictions, if any, come along.
Does that mean Mike can and should continue the RFP to hear what those ideas are, or is that a city-led decision? Because some of these ideas, I'm concerned about parking down there again.
Yep.
Someone says it's got a dance club that we can have 500 people here at night. Well, I don't know where you're going to park.
It's not going to be an event center.
Yeah.
Well, I like the notion of the historic designation, and sometimes that my understanding is you can't alter the outside, but
okay.
you sometimes, I'm not sure I'm correct about this, but I think you can do some difference inside. But what I'm concerned about is that, I think the idea of it being a different use is great, but if there's a limited amount of money we can spend on modifications, once we've done that, it can never, you can't change it again.
Correct, yeah.
So we have to be really sure.
Unless we take that on. I'm serious about that, and I felt that way all. We had talked about that building at various times. Pam, I think you were even on the board when we were talking about it. It could be fixed up almost like a community center.
Mm-hmm.
So if the mom's group is going to be playing with the kids in the park out back, they can rent that and they can have lunch in there, or they could put on a program, whatever they want to do, but make it useful like that, or more so than doing it for improving for a restaurant or a beer garden or something like that.
I mean, I can ask, the DNR and our city attorney, but I think what I think their response is going to be, let's just say the city doesn't follow what the statutes say, and we stick $250,000 in there, $300,000 in there, and it floods, and everything inside gets ruined. The insurance company probably say, well, you did it outside the parameters, we're not going to cover that expense. So basically, we were out that $300,000.
Yeah.
So I think that's the crux of it.
It will flood.
Yeah. So I mean, but I can obviously check with the DNR.
But
and
if
our
we
city
design
attorney.
accordingly,
Yeah.
and how we use
It'd
it.
have to be transient. It would have to be super transient.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But I don't think you could have a restaurant in there or a food service or a beer garden.
No,
Yeah.
probably not.
No.
But a useful building to the citizens of town to use it for activities or things like that.
I mean, it's a shame not to
Yeah.
be able to use it for something
Yeah.
Yeah.
other than a garage. So, but
So if we had.
I mean, I love the
So
idea.
what I'm getting at is let's say we're saying this on camera, aren't we? We're designing something to go in there and it's gonna cost us $100,000 to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's really easy to manipulate that appraisal to justify it.
Sure.
Right.
Right.
I mean, all you
I don't
gotta do
know. I'm
is
not
use
an
different comparables
Right.
for what it's worth.
Right.
I don't want to end up in jail over Buckeye Garage Pad.
Yeah, you want it to be something big. Yeah.
The mayor.
Yeah. Yeah. Throw him.
Yeah.
I wonder if.
What I'm thinking, when I say we do what we want, let's figure out what we'd like to do with it. And then what would that really cost?
Mm-hmm.
And then is the sliding thing the
Yeah.
valuation?
Here, okay, so that's where it's a city building, we keep it just for city, sort of like, and maybe you can rent it out if you're having someone's third birthday party and there's a kitchen and the bathrooms are all up to, that. And again, sometimes you might not know this, Mike, but I sometimes come up with ideas that are just kind of wacky. But if we were, just to go back and put Pat's idea on hold, like bring it up to some sort of usable code where a brewery can come in there on Friday, Saturday, and Sundays they have a guitar player, and you can get a beer and look at the river. And we thought that's a great use, and they'd pay us X amount a month, or whatever. Do these rules about investment in that building change at all? I'm gonna guess now the answer is no, but I may as well finish this. That we can lease it, and then the leaseor does the leasehold improvements. It's our building, so if they put sinks and new bathrooms in there, it becomes ours. But it's not the city spending that money on that building. We're leasing. We lease it to the sailboat group right now. What if they said, we're going to put $50,000 into this thing, and we go, well, it's not coming from us, and they said, no, we'll do it out of our own pocket, and they put in cool racks for their sailboats or a stereo system or whatever. Could whoever leases that building pay for the improvements, and it's not the city doing that, but the DNR maybe doesn't care. It's the building that stuff's going in. I don't know. Does that even make sense what I'm saying? That
It does.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, it's the building that they're looking at. So whenever any type of improvements in the riverway happens, obviously you pull a permit through the DNR. So it's not like they're
okay. Whoever's doing it. Okay,
Put
yeah.
it to you this way, what would the marina pay for the building?
Right. More than 90.
You'd pay a lot more than 90.
yeah,
For the
there's-
condo, for parking, yeah.
Yeah.
whoever buys it is going to be held to the same restrictions that the city's held to. So it's not like you can tear it down unless you tear it down and you bring 8 feet of fill and bring it up to the the conforming standards.
Well, if Arena just bought it for $300,000 with the restrictions that are on it, that's worth a whole lot more than the 90,000.
Yep.
So if we had an offer from
Sold.
them as a buyer,
Yeah, and we say we like the land, we don't care about the building, but the value goes with the property, both.
Yeah.
So if we could find someone say, I'll give you $500,000 for that.
Well, that's one of the questions that depends upon what happens here tonight. If we do get it reappraised, when it was appraised originally, it was just the building, and I don't know if the new appraisal includes the land with the building, or is it just the building typically? I guess I don't know
Yeah.
the answer to that.
I'm guessing they're restricting it to just the building.
They did, yeah.
Because
6
that's
years
we're talking about that structure not conforming. The land is what the land is, and its uses don't
Oh, I see, yeah.
Yeah,
into that.
that makes sense.
But I think, that gives us a whole lot more money if we get the appraisal up.
Okay,
And I don't think we'd have a hard time getting the appraisal up.
all right, so is that your motion?
Things have
to
changed
address
in
that?
6 years, no matter what, yeah.
But I go back to if we figure out what we want to do with it,
So how do we figure that? Do we try to add that to the corp that we just approved? To have a question on there about Buckeye Garage for the community to give feedback on, or?
why not? That's a good idea.
Yeah.
What would you like? 'Cause, I mean, obviously when they did the lakefront vision study back in 2015
Yeah.
or 2016, I mean, that was a big discussion
Yeah.
on that facility and what it could and couldn't be used for. And that's kind of where it was settled as, maybe a beer garden or community center or community pavilion. So that was 10 years ago already.
Yeah,
That was
wow.
great. So, okay, well, I guess if you think that's a good idea to kind of get some feedback from the community, specifically for that building, do we want to leave it open-ended, or do we want to try to give them options to choose from?
The council you're talking about?
No, on
for
the
the
survey. Because we don't want to have something,
It might be better to give them a few options.
What recreational purpose, I think how we phrase it means a lot.
right?
If we talk about possible uses, that opens it up to a bar or dance hall, right?
Yeah,
If we're talking about recreational uses, what could it be used for?
So it'd be more like a community room,
Yep.
an open-air shelter.
So I think we
classroom
give
type
some-
thing, or even like a pavilion, like,
yeah, closed version of Prospect.
yeah.
And when you said someone was interested, I was assuming it would be someone like renting stand-up paddle boards or stuff like that. That's what I was assuming somebody wants it for.
Yeah, no, it was more food-related, food-based.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So little kitchen, hamburgers, hot dogs, type thing.
Do you know, I'll let you finish that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you have any idea off the top of your head to take the existing bathroom structure and making an ADA and
Aw.
yes, removing the men's urinal that's been around for a while?
I mean,
Are we talking 200 grand? I mean,
no, because the plumbing is already there.
Okay. And doorways are
well,
wide. I assume doorways are wide now.
I don't know if you can get ADA accessibility with the current footprint, so you'd have to bust out a wall, which the modification comes
Yeah.
in play.
Right, now you're modifying it, yeah.
Okay. So I have enclosed pavilion, open air shelter, community room. Okay. Those three options, or maybe I'll put other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when it'll get
Kind of
fun.
leave it blank. That's when it'll get really wild.
But I think if we label it recreational uses, then you won't get the uses of restaurant, food, bar,
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, I'll see the whole thing with, if you create a space down there that has paddle boards and everything, you're competing with the bathhouse that we lease out every
Yeah.
season too. So you don't want to create that headache.
yeah.
Okay. So do we want to move forward with reappraisal then?
I think so.
And let's look at the historical.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
We should look at the historical very seriously to see if, at what point in the process you play that card.
Right.
historical
Or if it's useful to.
designation. All right, so who made that
And I do
motion?
like your idea, because I think some of those houses on Summit Avenue are, you know, they look like the turn of the century, and you go in and it's all modern inside. But they can't touch the shutters or the, you know, same color roof, but inside they can do whatever. So maybe that would be
I mean, that would have
that
to be investigated.
splitting the
more, 'cause
needle, yeah. Threading the needle. You don't split the needle.
Would this be year-round use, or would it be, or is that part of the conversation also, or
That would
is
be part of the
it
conversation
seasonal?
also. Yeah.
Warming house for skating.
I would say seasonal, just based on trying to keep that facility warm over the winter months. It probably wouldn't be worth it, to be honest with you.
No.
If somebody wanted to do food, could you take where the pump house is gonna be torn down, put a pad there? They could bring in a food truck. Would that be an option? Because that's what they need anyways. They're
Yeah.
not gonna wanna spend that kind of money redoing that whole garage. If they could wheel in a
Truck
food
with an op-
truck,
with an open
then
air
it's
shelter.
not bound by flooding. And
Yeah.
Do we, I think the city, and you might know better, do we have sort of a friendly agreement with our restaurants?
We don't, we have
So
food trucks
the-
because of our restaurants.
Yeah.
We don't allow them on public streets.
Oh,
On public streets. So this could be a leased pad.
right.
But that's a slippery slope.
Right. All right, so I have, well, I'll read what I have down for a possible motion. Direct staff to get an updated appraisal and look into the historical designation and add the Buckeye Garage uses to the corp.
Yes, move to approve that.
Think of anything else that we didn't? I think you got it all.
Okay. Motion by,
Me.
Okay.
Mike, second.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion?
It just, the raising the building, is that something that we could explore in the future if this kind of falls through? Or is that just pretty much off the,
I think it's off the table based on the amount of
6
money
feet?
that it would cost.
okay.
Yeah.
I think we sort of go down the road of it. We love that building. It's historical. We have to preserve it. But if we really want to use that space officially, it might be knock it down,
Right.
build something compliant, and now we can lease it out or do, you know, whatever. That'd be a high buildup. But
Yeah.
that's the other thing that nobody wants to say out loud. Another option is you knock it down.
Right.
And you know, we're not there yet in my book.
No.
But it is, I mean, that's sort of, like, you did a great job explaining it. The reason they do this, and I like your bucket analogy, is they're hoping eventually someone says, it's not worth it anymore, tear it down. So these things that aren't in code right now go away. So we're going to try to hang on to this thing as long as we can before someone on a park board years from now when we're not here says, let's just tear it down. So I don't think we want to be that one.
So you got a motion and a second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, discussion and possible action to go in possible action to replace the Burton Park slide.
Yeah. Did you see what the number they gave us for the climber? You're gonna fall over.
Yeah.
Nothing cheap. So,
Yeah.
obviously, this is a continuation from our last meeting. I reached out to them to see what a climber would cost, and the total that they gave us was $24,245.05. So the install of that is about $6,600. The pour in place surface patching, removing the slides and all the anchors of the current ones was $13,000, and then the climber itself is $3,000. So. Comparing that to the single stall slide was 28.5, and then the double was 35.5. In the issue sheet, I did reach out to the League of Wisconsin Municipalities attorney. Wasn't a huge help on this one. He said, as far as repairing it, he was concerned. He kind of just said, you're admitting there is If you repair it, you're basically admitting that there is something wrong
Structure, yeah.
structurally.
Yeah.
And if it's not repaired to like manufacturer specifications with the correct screws or this, and someone gets hurt, then you were negligent. So he goes, I would just reach out to your local attorney. And I haven't gone that far yet. So basically where we're at is approve one of the options for whether it's the climber, the slide, or the double. Or the other option is, we internally, there is a panel that we can purchase to basically close that off, and then the city staff would take out the slide, and we do purchase patch kits for like White Camp Park pour and play surface, and they're approximately $400 to $600 depending upon how big the patch is.
Okay.
But we could do that too, and that would be a very, very cheap option to eliminate the problem. So I guess it's just a matter of what would you like to do. So that playground's been in there, 15, 20 years now, something like that. So it's not going to be replaced anytime soon. It's probably going to be there for another 15 to 20 years, I would assume. And I guess that's where we're at, to kind of throw it in your court and you let me know what you'd like to do.
Well, how are we for budget for it?
So we have some monies remaining from Prospect Park CIP. So I did go out and get some price quotes. I talked to the new building inspector who was a contractor before coming here about replacing the counters and doing the electrical work. And so he kind of gave me a price on that. And we would have funds available out of that CIP to reallocate to do anything that we want at Burton Park. Put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that being said,
Well, I'm wondering if we don't put the panel in for now, for the 1 year and see if we get complaints or if everyone's just fine with that. That does seem like a lot of money.
Yeah.
$3,000 for the unit, but then 21 grand to install it.
yeah.
Yeah.
What's that surface that just kills you?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a pro and con to that surface. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So do you want that as a motion? How would you like that?
Yeah, if someone could make a motion on that, tell me what you want to do.
I think the motion is to put in the panel and
Yeah. And see how it
then we
goes.
can address it at a later date if it's an issue.
I'll second.
Okay.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next item we have in old business is the joint meeting with Village of North Hudson. Did it go to
Yeah.
finance for approval?
Yeah, it went to finance on Monday night. They had a discussion and they voted, ultimately approved to allow Park Board to have a joint meeting with the Village of North Hudson Park Board. So that's where we're at. Obviously, I haven't reached out to the Village of North Hudson to see where they're.
Oh, I've been working with them. They're waiting for us to say we can do
Okay,
it.
so you have the approval to meet with the Village of North Hudson to discuss that property. So if you want to reach out to them.
Yeah, I'll just tell them that we approved it, and then we can look for a date that we and they can make it.
Yeah.
And we were going to hold it, I believe we still will,
Fire.
up at the fire hall at the room up there. And at the time, we had talked to the TV people, and they said they could record everything up there, so it'd be like a regular meeting in that respect.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So that's that one. Go ahead.
No, just a quick question. So this is, will there be other groups other than just the village and us? I mean, with the trail group and some of those supporters, is that who you're?
They're welcome to be there and listen to everything and participate.
Okay.
Yep.
So it'll be more of a discussion group than a true meeting.
Well, yes, we're calling it a true meeting because we have to adhere to
Okay.
process and all
All
of
right.
that. The intent is to bring the village park board up to date and us up to date with the help we got from the National Park Service to lay out a park we're talking about the area at the big dam and the old railroad site.
Yep.
To go through that, what their vision was to be able to do that, how it might function, what could take place there, and then general discussion about what other things might be coming up on the horizon that may involve both park boards. If something's done on Lake Malibu for the dredging, those kinds of things that may be crossover for the two of them.
Yeah, I think that'd be really helpful to,
So it will probably take place sometime in April, is what we're hoping to do.
And does that new zoning have any impact on that?
No,
Okay. Right, they just turned it.
yeah, the village just changed the zoning on it from conservancy to being able to build on it. We have planned in the layout designs that we did with the Park Service, there's one that doesn't touch that land at all.
Okay.
And it's just purely on the county and the village and the city's property. And what all the elements are in going into that. That might be a long time before that's all decided and what's gonna end up down there.
Okay.
It's gonna be cantankerous.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be. That's why we as a committee have tried to stay out of the middle of it in that respect, saying we're designing something that could go either way, however the communities decide they want to have it. We've tried to address it to be able to do it.
That's why.
And I think that it can come out being a win-win for everybody on the way down as it goes out.
Yeah.
So you reach out to the Village of North Hudson?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll talk to them and get back to you on possible dates.
Okay.
And then we'll query all of us to see when might be able to work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Project updates.
Yeah, I'll just run through a couple here. So, in the CIP, last year's CIP, we had funds available to do some maintenance down at the beach house. And so we'll be signing some of those contracts to basically hire companies to come in and pressure wash the facility, the interior, replace some of the stanchions, the fixtures, just give it kind of a cleaning, and an update, painting, maybe do some of the floors, depending upon how much money we have remaining. So that'll be happening here over the next couple of months before we open up the facilities in early May. So got that one comment. And then also at Common Council on Monday night, we had a discussion about the goose population and the problems that we ran into last year down in Lakefront Park. So city staff, myself, Community Development Director Mike Johnson, and Brent McCulloch, the city administrator, met with U.S. Fish and Wildlife to discuss some of the programs that are available through them. And they are invited to come and present at the next Common Council meeting. Some of the available programs are like nest removals, just removal of the geese themselves, chemical deterrent, so on and so forth. So those are some of the things that they'll be discussing and presenting to the Common Council on the 16th. And then based on those discussions, the council hopefully kind of gives us direction on what we'd like to do this upcoming summer. So we don't run into the problem that we had last year with just a whole flock. I mean, It went from, 15 to 20, that was manageable. And last year, for whatever reason, there was just an explosion. We had 80 to 100 down in the park. And it's just not sustainable for us as a community, as staff, to just be down there every morning for 4. We just don't have the horses
everywhere
in the stable to do it, to do that every single day.
And we can't close that beach on 4th of July again.
Yeah.
At least we have to do everything possible to avoid that, is what I mean.
Yeah.
Because that is a contributing factor to some of the E. coli problems that we're experiencing in the middle of summer, is just the amount of waterfowl and just what happens when waterfowl's around. You're going to get some bad water. So so I just wanted to give you an update on that. Obviously more to come in the future. That's all I got for project updates. Letter C, we already discussed up top.
Yes, we did.
Memorial packet.
Yeah, that's for a future agenda. That's on the back burner.
But there's nothing you want us to think
No,
about
not
for
right
that?
now. No. It's more of a placeholder for me to remind myself to put something together for an upcoming meeting. So when we don't have a lot of stuff to talk about, I'll put that on there.
Yeah.
Second Wednesday next week.
Okay. We all good?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carried. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.